Big red update here. Got the motor swapped over, got it fired up already. It's just kind of the journey from here to there. It was a 5.7 diesel originally, then it was swapped to a gas motor. Now it's a 6.2 with Banks turbo. Guess I can give a big red update. Originally diesel, Grandpa swapped it to a gas. I've got a 6.2 turbo diesel. It's going back in it right now, so we're working on pulling this motor out. And I'm gonna drop this in that little green truck in another video. It's got the little inline 6-cylinder, so this should wake it up. I'm gonna go through and freshen this motor up. This is a small block 400. I'll put new gasket and seals on it. Get it cleaned up. I have a 6.2 with 54,000 miles on it with a Banks turbo kit. I've got a little bit of work I need to do to it first. Took the radiator support out. Had some very professional work done to it. Class A job. I definitely have a few things I want to get straightened out. The center fender seems fine, it's just whatever that is. This is original core support, and this seems to be something added to it that they tried welding on. Other than that, she looks pretty good. Getting ready to pull this motor. Part of why I went to take this motor out is because it was just leaking oil like crazy. Jesus, just dropping stuff all over my face. Taking this starter off. This thing just has some major oil leaks. This rear main seal, I think, is just completely gone. She's gonna need some TLC, that's for sure. All right. Well, we got that starter out of the way. There's not a lot of oil. Not a lot of oil back there, you know, except all over the motor. She needs some TLC. And I'm not talking about chasing waterfalls here. This thing's just, well, she needs some work. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning right now. Deciding to go ahead and pull this 400 out. Got the diesel all wrapped up. Then I'm gonna go through this motor and get it back to working. Find a new project to put it in. Working on the old 6.2 today. Trying to get this thing finished up. Getting ready to mount spin-on fuel filter water separator. Right about there. We got new rubber lines coming up to it. I already got the filter. I think that'll be a good spot. Working on Big Red. I'm gonna get this crossover pipe on. Gotta get this thing done. Running out of time. Need to get the pulleys on. Gotta tighten this crank bolt up. Need to get the alternator on. Got new radiator hoses for it. I still have to get a new thermostat. I don't have one of those yet. Let's see. I get the downpipe on. So I think we will start with the crossover pipe. Let's see what we can do with it. Alright, I got the pipe up in place. Now I just gotta get this part bolted up. It's only held on by one bolt right now. Crossover is installed. I'm gonna work on these fuel lines, get this battery cable where it needs to go, and go ahead and put on the downpipe. Run into a little snag. Apparently the military 6.2s, which use a 24-volt system, also use a different alternator bracket than what the 12-volt system uses. Now I know it's a different alternator, but I'm wondering if I can't just cut this piece out right here and pop it up into there, and then see if I can't do something with it. And that's where we're at right now. Try to get this thing done this week. Need my truck back. Alright, no need to modify. When you have as many of these things as I do, you're bound to have the right one. So, went and took it off another truck. And now I got this one back together. She's coming out now. She's coming out now. Little heat. Took a minute to figure it out. But I got the power steering pump on. Just have to bolt it up. I have to get new lines for it, so I'm not going too crazy trying to get it hooked up. It goes from the Hydro Boost power steering pump to the steering box. It's all connected together. Let's see what else we got here. Not a whole lot. Just need to get it done. We gotta hook up the AC compressor. I do want to have air conditioning in the truck. Would be kind of nice. Got to get the lines hooked up here. This goes to the Hydro Boost, and then I'll have to bleed the brakes again. Might even put new calipers on it. But slowly but surely it's getting there. 4th of July weekend. Get all the fireworks going off. Got the new fuel tank out. There's some black paint on it. It's nothing special. It was all this color here. Oops. And there's the brand new. Alright, Big Red update. Let's see if we can get this camera switched around here. Hooked in this electric fuel pump so I don't have to overheat the new starter, drain the batteries, so I can prime this fuel system. Alright, so there's that. We're good up to here. So let's go ahead and get this hooked back up. Alright, got the pump going. Now let's shut this down. So that's bled off. Now then what it's got to do is go through the IP pump, through the injectors, and basically prime everything. And I don't know how long that's going to take. Crank the motor over, you can kind of see some of them are starting to prime. See how wet that one is? Wet. Alright. We're just about there. Fuel system is primed. If any of you guys have ever worked on these 6.2s, you know it's a pain in the butt trying to get it that first time after they've been sitting a while. This motor's been sitting for almost a year. Yeah, the fuel system is completely dry. And you can't use starting fluid in them, so that's a no-go. You can do stuff like WD-40 or something like that. Just charging the batteries up. These batteries, I don't know what's wrong with them. They just don't hold a charge very long. You get about 15-20 seconds of cranking and that's it. And that's two 850 cold cranking amp brand new batteries. We're just about there. Hopefully today we'll get it fired up. Ooh. Super clean, no smoke. Big red update. Had to dig around. I found a thermostat housing. So now we're gonna get that popped on there. We're gonna work on getting this radiator support on. May even go ahead and power wash some of this stuff and then get the batteries mounted. Got some antifreeze to put in it. And then we can actually let this thing run for a minute. So let's see what we can do. Alright, thermostat housing is on. 180-degree thermostat. So I need to wire in the pyrometer, which goes there. This little G-dad you see right there. The boost gauge and the RPM gauge. And then gonna work on the exhaust. Still gotta get this radiator support mounted. Got the coupler here I've got to weld on. I have to leave this side unwelded with just a clamp so I can get the downpipe in. Well, running to the first snag here. I didn't think there'd be that big a difference in the radiator between a 5.7 and a 6.2, but they are just completely different. I mean, this should line up and you can see just how much bigger. This was a 5.7 diesel, this is the 6.2. The lower hose is not too far off from being usable. squared up there. You could probably get that to work. But just the diameters are just so much different. So I'm sitting here pondering what I need to do. I mean, this is a good radiator, so I hate to swap it out just because. I don't know if I can make some sort of adapter or just spend the $300 and buy a radiator. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I was gonna get this on and then put the fan on. And then I was gonna let it just run for a while, make sure there weren't any leaks, or I don't anticipate there being any, but it's kind of where I'm at. Doing some pondering. So big red update. Got the radiator in. I ended up just putting some WD-40 on that radiator hose and cutting it to fit. The problem I have now is the 5.7 radiator and a 6.2 have different heater hose routing. So heater hose comes out of the crossover pipe over to the heater core, and then the 5.7 diesel is more like just a small block Chevy, but the 6.2 is supposed to mount back into the radiator, which I don't have a provision for. So now I'm kind of back to either, well, at least right now in the middle of July, I don't need a heater, but I'll probably end up having to go ahead and get a radiator at some point. But for now, I'm just going to block it off and let this thing run a while.